We're taking you live to the UN. So people are waiting for the former French minister, Colonna, to speak on the findings of an independent report that has been commissioned by the UN on the allegations that UNRWA members are linked to Hamas in some way and were linked to the October the 7th attacks. And that is the UN Secretary General spokesperson, Stéphane Dujarric, standing on stage alongside the former French minister. They're about to start. Shall we listen in? Yeah, let's listen in.
Merci beaucoup, Stéphane. We can speak in French between us without any witnesses hearing. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to be back in New York, 2 months after my first visit here and speaking to you 2 months ago at the very beginning of the mission. As you know, the Secretary General has established the independent review in February to assess, I'd like to quote, whether UNRWA is doing everything in its power to ensure neutrality and to respond to allegations of serious breaches when they are made. The review was also asked to make recommendations, if necessary. This followed serious allegations about the possible involvement of some UNRWA individuals in the 7th of October terrorist attacks on Israel. So I'd like to be very clear on this. These allegations are under investigation by the OIOS, Internal Oversight Services. It is a separate mission, and it is not in our mandate. Let me quickly explain how we've worked. For the last 9 weeks, it was a short time frame, we have extensively analyzed the mechanisms and procedures in place within UNRWA. We have traveled, including in the region. We traveled to Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Ramallah, Amman. We met with officials as well as with UN agencies and NGOs. We visited the Shufat refugee camps in Jerusalem East, run by UNRWA, and we visited UNRWA's headquarters in Amman. All in all, I think we've had conversations and meetings with over 200 people throughout the review, including both, of course, local and international staff, of course, but not only. And I think I've spoken with representatives of 47 countries and organizations. So the first thing I'd like to say is that I would like to personally thank all those who've given me their time, support, information, and I've been so patient for answering our many questions, and quite often we come back to the same context, to further details. And I want you to know that we've received a very good cooperation elsewhere, everywhere. From every single interested party, and this is important for you to know. Of course, this was highly appreciated. Of course, I would like to thank the 3 research institutes who worked with us. They had thorough research, and that was immensely useful. Now, when we come to substance, I would like to say first that UNRWA plays an indispensable and irreplaceable role in the region. And this must be said clearly. Let's start from that. In the absence of a political solution, we know it provides life-saving humanitarian aid and essential services to the population. And of course, as we speak, in this critical time, UNRWA has a vital role in the humanitarian response in Gaza. Overall, the findings of the review are that UNRWA has in place a very significant number of mechanisms and procedures to ensure compliance with the humanitarian principle of neutrality Actually, they probably have a more developed system than other UN organizations or agencies, which is a necessity considering the very difficult environment, complex and difficult situation in which they operate, and the uniqueness of their mission. There's always room for improvement, and some issues related to neutrality persist. This is why this mission was created. And among some events, I could quote, for example, instances of staff publicly taking sides, host countries' textbooks that could sometimes contain some problematic content. We'll go further in the report with that, as well as politicized union, making, it did happen, operational disruptions or making threats against the management. I'm presenting this report, and we have the report. I think it's public as we speak. I'm presenting the report as the chair. And I've identified 8 critical areas to ensure compliance with UNRWA's neutrality principles. Let me go briefly through the 8 areas, if I may, and then I'll take your questions. One is engagement with donors. Enhancing interactions between UNRWA and its donors is imperative to foster trust and to strengthen partnership. I've heard it from so many states at the very beginning of the mission, and it must be addressed, obviously, but frankly speaking, I think this is not too difficult by just increasing the interactions. So recommendations will include increasing donor updates on the finances, on the budget, on the structure of the budget, on neutrality allegations or breaches when they occur. 2, governance. UNRWA has a unique mission, I repeat, but has a very interesting structure. They do not have an executive board. They have an advisory commission, and the advisory commission provides advice. So UNRWA would benefit from stronger governance structures in support of its leadership and of what the management tries to pursue as a strategic line. And stopping here just for a while, you hear me saying this several times this morning or this afternoon rather. I would like to stress that the international community has a responsibility in helping and supporting UNRWA in addressing neutrality issues, globally speaking, in its mission, including in helping the agency to address these difficult challenges it faces sometimes. It is a shared responsibility. We have recommendations for governance without changing the mandate. It is what it is, and the structure is what it is. I recommend the Advisory Commission to meet more regularly, maybe at a higher level, sometimes at the UN headquarters here in New York or in Geneva. Why not? At the level of permanent reps. I recommend to have neutrality as a standing issue on its agenda. Is it an issue? Yes, that's what we're here for. They don't discuss about it. And I recommend create a dedicated working group on neutrality to address this question. 3, management and internal oversight capacities or structures. And I'll be quite direct here. It is a critical area where there are major gaps. UNRWA has undertaken huge and commendable efforts to reform its system. And these initiatives should be further expanded. We have the Oversight and Internal Services, we have the Ethics Office. They could be in power with a greater role. Also, very clearly, there needs to be more senior international staff in field positions. in each of the 5 fields of operations. UNRWA has just a tiny percentage of international staff, less than 1% actually, and the rest is local employees, which is quite natural because it delivers services directly to the population. So nurses are, local, teachers are local, workers are local. Nevertheless, they're missing maybe this management structure that is needed if we want to see oversight being reinforced. In addition to that, we've noted that some political influence sometimes is exercised on decisions related to projects, and it shouldn't be the case. This is posing a significant risk. This is not respecting neutrality, so it is crucial also to address this side of the question. 4, neutrality of staff. It is not news that UNRWA faces challenges due to the politicization of its staff. Not all of them, but some of them, and usually the higher go to the positions of influence, the more you'll see that. This is again affecting its neutrality. So it is crucial to reform prevention strategies and monitoring strategy. The staff should better respect staff regulations and rules. They have accepted those rules when entering, they've signed, they should respect those rules. And the agency should give the appropriate response to potential breaches. It is also needed. So coming to our recommendations, some, and these are just a few examples, include regularly sharing the list of employees, digitalised with some details of the employees, with host countries and with Israel. It works well in some countries, less with Israel. In the past years, it could have been better, but in the very recent times, this is affected, of course, by the global atmosphere. So host countries and Israel will need to provide screening results and evidence if there's any red flag on a person. We recommend that the agency also vet staff when promoted. Each time you reach a certain level of responsibility, you must be cleared. Also, they have a whistleblower system, which is good because when you see something, you can report it. It could and should be strengthened. 5, neutrality of installations. Again, not so much bragging news here that it did happen that sometimes UNRWA's installations have been used for, or misused, rather, I should say, for political or military purposes by various groups. Not thinking of one only here, various parties, various groups. And this is undermining the neutrality of the installation. It should not happen. Preventive measures, enhanced monitoring of the installations, transparent reporting are necessary steps to address this issue effectively. So there should be more inspections, an inspection looking at a larger scope, looking beyond the UN logo, looking beyond posters and various signs, looking a little bit further. We know it's needed. The agency does it, but could expand the community awareness campaigns that they do on the civilian nature of these installations. They are civilian installations. They are UNRWA installations. They should be respected and protected. 6, neutrality of education. Let me first say that the role of UNRWA is so highly important there. UNRWA has a system that is crucial, indispensable to several hundreds of thousands of children in the region. However, it has been reported for many years, not to say decades, that some schools may have been utilized to spread political views, violating neutrality principles, not respecting UN values, not respecting UNESCO standards, you will find additional material in the report. And though UNRWA has made considerable progress in the past few years to mitigate the risk addressed to some content promoting hate or inciting violence in the textbooks, in the classroom, it now needs to implement a zero-tolerance policy. 7, you're almost there. Neutrality of staff union. Over the years, political factions have used UNRWA's staff union system to pressure UNRWA's leadership, to use influence, sometimes causing, I repeat, operational disruptions. And this is not the role of staff unions. Staff unions should represent the staff. They're not quite representative, by the way, even if I judge only by the gender balance. 50% of the staff is women, or 50% of them is men, and the other half is women. When you go up to the top, there's only one woman representative at the top level, and 18 men. We know this is one of the most sensitive issues with all the influence attached to that. It needs to be addressed with the full support of the Advisory Commission and of member states. Very recently, the Commissioner General pushed for a reform of the system. It was not supported by the Advisory Commission. UNRWA cannot be alone facing this issue without getting support from member states in the first place of the Advisory Commission. So recommendations will be quite clear, hoping to help making it through. They include reforming the 1990 Statute of the Union of Area Staff of UNRWA, dating 1990. It should be updated. And it should be aligned with the UN Staff Union Statute. We also think an independent entity should vet every staff union representative. 8, and we're opening a door towards a broader scope, even beyond what we will achieve now, enhanced partnerships, while respecting fully the mandate. The mandate is what it is by the 1949 resolution. And actually, specifically in line with this resolution, cooperation with other UN organizations and agencies is needed. It is there. It has already been engaged. However, especially considering the current crisis in Gaza, and in full respect of the mandate of the agency, I repeat, some additional measures could be considered to help UNRWA deliver life-saving assistance to those in need. So I will end there. There are some 50 recommendations in the report. I just mentioned a few. And I'm confident that implementing these recommendations will help UNRWA fulfill its mandate and restore confidence when needed. I presented the findings and the recommendations of the report to the Secretary General on Friday. During our meeting, he was kind enough to call our work important and decisive, for which I'm very grateful. And this morning, he issued a statement saying that he accepted the recommendation. This is a very important decision and a very important step. The Secretary General endorses the recommendations. And so it is now up to the Commission General to take this forward and to provide a clear plan on how the agency will follow up on these recommendations. And one last note, because I want to repeat that I strongly believe that member states, the international communities, host countries, also need to help UNRWA implement these reforms so it better fulfills its mandate. It is a shared responsibility, obviously. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.